Hello everyone, welcome to the first video by the community. Well, in this video we'll be discussing about what is a computer, and once we get to know what a computer actually is, then we'll move forward and discuss about the story of hardware and software. Well, these two guys, hardware and software, are like best buddies. Having said that, let's move forward, but before that, let me give you a short introduction about myself. Well, my name is Sunil Joshi. I'm a computer science engineer. I've been coding since 7th standard. So if you are someone who is watching this video and like you are in your 7, 8, 9 or your 10th standard, trust me, we got lots in common. Now, let us discuss first topic of this video, and that is what is a computer. Well, the first point says that a computer is an advanced electronic device. Now, what is an electronic device? An electronic device is any device that needs electricity for it to work. Now, this electronic device, what it does is that it takes raw data as input from the user. Now, the second question that comes to our mind is that what is a raw data? Raw data can be anything like clicking of a mouse button or pressing down a keyboard button, or it can also be something like a text file or a music file or any file that you can think of. Now, the next question that comes to our mind is, who helps the computer to get these raw data as input? And the answer to that is something called input device. And the example for input device can be a mouse, keyboard, and so on and so forth. Now, once the computer gets the raw data, what actually happens is that the raw data travels all the way from input device to something known as an internal memory, sometimes also known as a RAM. From the RAM, it travels all the way to a central processor unit, also known as a CPU. Now, this is where the actual processing of data happens. Now, once the raw data comes to the CPU, the processing starts happening. And who helps the CPU to process this data? The answer to that is something called as a set of instruction, also known as a program. Now, once the CPU is done with the processing of the raw data, it gives something called as a processed data. Now, this processed data can be rendered into some output device like a monitor, a speaker, or any output device that you can think of. Now, coming over to the second point, it says a computer cannot do anything without a program. Now, what is a program? Program is a set of instructions. Now, what do you mean by this line? Well, for this, let us consider a simple scenario. Consider a scenario where you want to see a movie. And let the movie be The Lion King. So what do? You go to the folder where the movie is present, and then you do a simple double click. But what if the computer do not have a player? In that case, what happens is that this instruction, the instruction of double clicking on the movie file, gets transferred to the CPU, and the CPU responds you saying cannot open file. Now what does that mean? It means that the computer did not have the program because of which it can play a movie. Now let us consider a similar scenario where you want to view a movie, the same movie, The Lion King, but in this case you have a music player. So when the instruction of playing the movie goes to the CPU, what it does is it loads the set of instruction or the program. In this case, the program will be a movie player, and with the help of this you are able to view the movie. Now coming over to the third point, it says computer is designed to work with information, and information is sometimes also known as data. As we have already seen in the first point, that a computer needs data so that it can process it and it can produce an output. But if we do not give the computer the required data, it cannot process the data, and hence we do not get any output. The fourth point says that the word computer usually refers to central processor unit and the internal memory, which is also sometimes known as a RAM. Now if you have no idea about what a CPU is and what RAM is, it's perfectly fine. We'll discuss it later in this video. Now let's see what are the examples for a computer. A computer can be a desktop computer, laptop, a smartphone, and even an ATM machine. Well, let me show you like what desktop, laptop and smartphone looks like. Yeah, so this is a smartphone. It's also a type of a computer. The thing which you are seeing here is something known as a desktop. It's also another kind of computer, and this is something which is known as a laptop, another kind of a computer.